Hello, everybody. This is Alan
And Betsy.
from the No BS Bar. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about interest rates out there and what's happening in the interest rate world.
Why would you wait to buy instead of buying right now is what we're actually talking about. Because here's what's been happening. People have been waiting and waiting, actually over probably the past couple of years, saying, we're going to hold out. We're going to wait for interest rates to drop. Is that a good idea right now?
Not a good idea. You know, everybody kind of got spoiled when they saw these 2, 3, 4% interest rates. And what they didn't know was that's never happened before. That was an anomaly because of COVID, because the federal government put all this money back the loans so that the lenders didn't have to charge a high interest rate to make their money. They were making it up front from the federal government.
Right.
So,
Do we want COVID back?
No.
No.
And that means we're not going to see these 2, 3, 4% interest rates. It's just not going to happen. It's an anomaly.
Right.
So what do you think is going to happen? How can we help people that are concerned about today's 6% interest rates or 6.5% interest rates?
There's tons of ways that we can help. Number one, budgeting upfront. You know, people are going to have to learn how that they can figure out their budget. What can you do? Can we sit down with the lender up front and figure out maybe there's ways that we can pay off things? Maybe there's ways of restructuring. Maybe there's ways that we can do different things. Can you do a 2-1 buy down?
You know, because here's Betsy talking about budgeting. You know, do people really buy the price of the house or the interest rate? No. You know what they buy? They buy their monthly payment and their monthly cash flow. That's what they're trying to afford and trying to focus on. So that's a bigger picture item than just saying, I'm not buying it if the interest rate's 6.5, or I'm not paying this much for this house. You might pay that much for the house, and you might take that 6.5 interest rate if your monthly cash flow changes and you can afford it. Yep. That's what it really comes down to.
Is it smart to do a 15-year financing? Is it smart to do conventional? Are you doing a VA? Are you doing an FHA? Are you doing a VHDA? There's so many different ways. What people don't know, there's first-time home buyers out there that could go into a house and literally put no money down. Do people know that there's that option of buying a house and buying it with no money down? There's military that can go into a house and use their VA and walk into a house if they can get their closing costs paid with literally no money out of pocket.
Right. I can remember times in the past with VA buyers where they would put down their earnest money deposit and actually at closing get part of it back to where they actually got money back at the closing table.
Well, my first year of my career, maybe even 2 years of my career, or maybe even 4, we were sitting at the closing table and they were getting their entire earnest money back, which was crazy if you were a VA buyer, because every contract we were writing was kind of like that. That changed with COVID completely.
And because of the prices going up. But, you know, here's the good thing. Interest rates have stabilized where they are. The good thing about interest rates stabilizing is that also helps stabilize the prices. Now, we think we're still going to see prices go up, which means that's why you shouldn't be waiting, because if the interest rates are stabilizing and prices are still going up because we still don't have enough inventory. And you know what? We're not going to have enough inventory for probably 5 to 8 years. It's going to be a while. So should you wait? Do you wish you'd bought a house 5 or 8 years ago at those prices?
I bet they wish they bought 2 years ago.
I bet they wish they bought any.
I bet everybody wished they bought when interest rates were 2 to 3%. Actually, let's just go there.
Yeah. Best time to buy a house was yesterday. The next best time is today. Because long term is what you have to look at.
You know, and I mean, just going back to different ways, this is a great time to sit down, do a buyer consult with me, and we can look at things. There's a 1-1 buy down, there's a 2-1 buy down, but there's all these different ways. And sometimes, believe it or not, if that house is sitting on the market, these are ways we can ask the seller to pay these in closing costs. But there's a lot of different things out there that people don't know. Adjustable rate mortgages are very smart at this time, by the way, sometimes.
We were discussing earlier, back when I started, I bought my first house in the 80s and kept buying in the 90s and the early 2000s. That entire time, I was always using an adjustable rate mortgage because I knew even if it went up 1 or 2 years, I still didn't catch up to where I was, and it depended on how long I was going to be in the house. And so I knew if I was only going to be in a house 4 or 5 years, the adjustable rate mortgage was going to pay no matter what.
Right.
So,
So this is between sitting down with a very educated agent, not somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, and a very, very good mortgage broker, and knowing this is what's going to put you ahead of everybody else out there, and you knowing that, look, if this is the time for you, stop wasting your money and get into that house, get ahead of it, and know that this is the perfect time for you to buy before housing goes up higher and higher. This is the time for you. This is the perfect time.
because what's going to happen come spring and summer, we always see more inventory. Don't wait for more inventory, because guess what happens when more inventory happens? More buyers come into the market, and you never win getting competitive in the marketplace. It takes longer to recover that than a different interest rate would.
Yeah, then you're in a multiple offer situation, craziness.
Yep. So if you're looking to buy a house, now's the time. If you're worried about whether you qualify or what your cash flow is, come in and talk to us. We'll let you know. We'll look at a plan. Sometimes it's building a plan that's go right now. Sometimes it might be a plan that's 6
Right.
months down the road.
That's fine.
That's okay. We want to get the plan in place. So until next time.
We'll see you at the No BS bar.